Welcome to Practice Talk, a deep dive into the world of healthcare practices, where we invite team members to share strategies to make your work life easier. Now your host, Lacie Ellis.
How do you check in your patients, and is it different for a new patient versus your existing patients?
Yeah, so when we check in patients, I like to treat every patient the same. When they check in, we greet them with a smile. We say hello, how are you doing? We recognize the patients. We kind of treat the same excitement of seeing a new patient as we do our current patients, because each patient is just as important as the last.
So I'm also curious, what systems do you have in place to actually help you deal, your dealings with your patients a little bit easier?
Absolutely. So when we're working with patients, depending on what the situation is, we run a lot of reports, make sure to stay on track with things. We, keep things together, kind of share with everything. And that kind of leads into just teamwork.
What is your policy for actual, emergencies and things?
Depending on the type of emergency, a lot of kiddos, they'll have a pokey wire, they'll have a broken bracket. Depending on what type of situation they're in with that emergency can depend then on what that next step is going to be with that policy. So typically in our schedule, we keep spots there to leave open for any emergency that we might have. We also have over the weekend someone who's on call, an assistant that can take emergencies, or the doctor himself that comes in and takes care of that patient. Because ultimately, like you said, what matters most is taking care of the patient. We want to make sure that they're taken care of. Absolutely, we can. And we also want to make sure that we take care of the patients that are already in the schedule as well. If you are in a situation where maybe your team member or your doctor might not be as flexible, I think one of the most important things is just being able to communicate with them and let them understand, I understand you're frustrated. I want to be able to help you. I will try to get you the help as best as I can.
Yeah, so I'm like we said, pre-planning for that and having your policies in place are helpful. But like you said, the team being supportive of those needs is probably the biggest part of that. You can have all the policies in the world, but if you don't have your team supporting you, I think it makes it really tricky.
Some people's experience at doctor's offices might not be that great. So I'm so happy that we can create an environment that's warm and friendly and just be excited to care for people. I think it's a lot of fun.
When you listen and you really try to solve the problem the best that you can, that can never be a wrong path. That can't be, you can't go wrong when you're giving it your best with your whole heart. So,
absolutely.
And like I said, you guys exemplify that to the biggest degree I've ever seen. So
Thank you for listening to the Practice Talk podcast. Head over to practice-talk.com to ask us questions or tell us your stories. Until next time.